are the Hollywood Paranormal Detectives.
That's right, we are. We are the Hollywood Paranormal Detectives, and welcome to episode 2 of our weekly HPD Live. We are live right now. We got 4 people watching. That is great. If you're watching, please follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if Steve sounds a little rough, and if you notice by my name, Six Steve, your host, your hero, I have come down with the dreaded COVID. But COVID is not stronger than HPD, so we're going to bulldoze through and we're going to make this happen. So with me every week, as always, my trusty steed and his trusty steed also, Brian.
Hi, everyone.
There's the Brian man. And from three Girls in the Dark, St. Louis, hopefully she'll be HPD Emily soon. Here's Emily. Straight out of the big house.
HPD Emily. And I just came from robbing a bank, so.
Our newest and truest, our newest member, here's Mandy.
Sup?
Mandy. All right, you guys. I'm so glad you guys are here. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Yeah, hanging in
You
there.
all look fabulous. I'm quarantined in the HPD headquarters. When we first started this, Brian remembers when we first. Oh my God!
Oh no!
Is everyone still there? My screen went black.
You're back.
Yeah,
we're good.
You got some kind of power saving setting on or something. You got to turn off.
Something's happening. I got to keep the mouse moving. When we first started this HPD adventure, one of the first comments on the first investigation was from these wonderful ladies in Texas, Amy and Lainey from What the Paranormal. They commented that they loved our show. We quickly went over to their channel and we did an interview, and we've done it back and forth for so long, and they've been great supporters of HPD and good friends from the beginning of the first. We'd like to introduce you to this week's guest, Amy from What the Paranormal.
Hello.
Hi, Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Hi.
Wanted to breathe for you, Steve.
Huh?
I said I wanted to breathe for you.
I know. I got to get all this info out. How are you doing in Texas?
We're doing good. A
Doing
little under the
good.
weather as well, but we're doing good.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to introduce you to 2 new faces. You've never met Emily or Mandy.
No.
Hi.
haven't. It's very good to meet you. I'm glad to see your team's growing.
Yeah, we are growing. Our Boom is alive and well in the Ukraine, and he'll be back maybe for some of these talk shows. But for right now, Boom's living his Ukrainian life, and hopefully we'll have him on here soon.
Cool.
That's very
Well, let's get right down to it. You've asked us, you've interviewed me probably 4 or 5 times. And I've always kind of wanted to dig into, your paranormal history. So let's get right from the start. I got some great questions here on the old HPD clipboard. So what is it like being a mother-daughter team? Are you more relaxed having your family with you during an investigation? Or do you feel more on guard having to look out for your family from a negative attachment or entity or something like that?
That's a very good question, and I've never been asked that before. But Lainey has a lot of gifts that I don't. So a lot of times it's amazing having her there and having her insight, and I trust her completely. Like, so in one aspect, it's good, but 2, there is that fear that she's going to get an attachment or she's going to get attacked or anything, and not just from spirits. A lot of the places we go to are crazy with homeless people, and just a lot of we ran into a lot of gang things and stuff. So it is very scary to put. And now that she's an adult, she started out at 16 on YouTube. She's 21 now, so it is a little easier because she is very smart and she makes really good choices, and she knows when enough's enough. She knows when to back out. So I do trust her in that aspect, but it is scary sometimes to just go out and do those things. But I'm very happy that I have her there with me.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Real people are always scarier, or most
Yes.
of the time scarier than anything from the other side.
Yeah.
It's way scarier than the dead.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I always joke and tell like, if Taylor was part of the team, I couldn't investigate because I'd be more concerned with my
Mhm.
wife
Yeah.
than I would be for investigation. And then I always say, and also I wouldn't be in charge anymore because I can tell other people what to do, but I can't tell her what to do.
Right.
What was your first paranormal experience? How old were you when it happened? And looking back now as an investigator, what would you think of that experience from an outside perspective?
Well, I was basically born and raised around the paranormal. My family is Chickasaw Indian, and there's a lot of people in my family that have gifts. So I was basically raised in it. But my first experience, okay, my first experience was when I decided to do the Ouija board with some friends, and we had a lot of things happening. We thought we were talking to a little boy, and it ended up not being a little boy, and a lot of things started happening in our home. But the last time we used the Ouija board, the candles that we had lit, the flames shot up.
Oh,
Oh,
The
wow.
glass rattled, and there was just so much like negativity in our home. Looking back on that now, I know that doing that was not a good thing because we didn't know what we were doing, for one.
yeah.
Yeah.
And two, I've learned over the years that you can't always trust what a spirit says or who they say they are.
Yeah.
So I definitely would have not done that, especially going into it thinking it was just a game. It was fun, you know. And I haven't used a Ouija board since then. But looking back over that now, I would change a whole lot from when I first started doing investigations. That's for sure.
Yeah. I would agree with the whole child spirit thing. I get usually really uncomfortable if I hear that there are child spirits in a location, because if it's something super malevolent or negative, they can portray themselves as whatever they want, and you half the time would never know.
Exactly.
So I'm pretty standoffish when I hear that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry that I keep cutting out and I don't know what's happening.
Is
And
that
it's very
interfering with
scary.
the live feed?
Well, my screen goes black and I still hear you guys, and I don't know what's doing it. And it's terrifying. And I'm afraid everything's down, but then I still hear you guys talking. It's so scary.
We're good.
Yeah.
Everybody here's good.
What the Paranormal has such a huge YouTube family. It is so impressive. When I get on your chats every Thursday, and we'll add that link if we can figure out how. I'm still learning this out, but go to their channel every Thursday. They have a great talk. They have a great paranormal talk. Everyone that gets on there, you know them by name. You say hello, say how's your cat. You know every detail of everyone on there. What is the secret to growing an internet community the way you have? It is awe-inspiring watching how well you know every name that pops up on your Thursday chats. What's the secret to that?
Growing slow.
Yeah.
We have definitely, we started out really slow, and we had everyone that came in, we tried to learn their names, everything, but we've learned that it's quality over quantity. And so it was never like a numbers game for us. It was always, I don't know how to explain it with
Yeah.
people that came in, they watched our videos and stuff like that, but we didn't want it just to be a name that we seen in the comments. So we started doing the live streams. But we wanted to get to know everyone on a personal basis. And now, you know, we talk to everyone outside of YouTube. And if I was off YouTube tomorrow, I would still communicate with every single one of them every day. We go on vacations together.
Oh, wow.
We have the
That's
YouTube
awesome.
family reunion, and so now you kind of get to know everybody personally, and being consistent and being loyal to the ones that are loyal to you definitely helps as well.
Mhm.
Because if I didn't go support them, I would not expect them to go support me. So I want to get to know them and the things that they do on their channels as well. Not just, I don't want them just to come and watch our videos and like and comment or whatever. I want to get to know them. So it's not a number game for us. It's a building a family and a community that we can count on and have that support even off of YouTube, because YouTube's not guaranteed. I mean, it may be gone tomorrow, but I have these amazing people, and a lot of them's in chat right now that I could count on even if I wasn't here.
I was just going to say, the chat is blowing up for you tonight. There's
Yeah.
people in there.
We have some amazing people. That's for sure.
A big para family. So
Huge, and I think
Mhm.
so. Probably back when you first commented on Janice, y'all were probably only at about 1,200 subscribers.
Yeah.
I watched y'all slowly grow to about 4, and then y'all jumped to about 8, like out of nowhere. And you've been growing and growing and growing so fast. Tell us more about the fam reunion.
So the fam reunion is something that it started off with me going to meet a fellow YouTuber, and now he calls me mom. I call him my son. I've adopted him into our family, and we were just going to go meet with him. My husband bought me a present for my birthday, and it was a night at the Stanley Hotel and a trip to Colorado. So we were going to go do that. Well, then it ended up with friends of ours saying, "Oh, I wish I was going. I wish I was going." So we just started inviting everybody, and then before we knew it, we had 18 people in a cabin in Colorado.
Wow.
And so we had so much fun that whole entire week that we decided we wanted to do it again the next year. So me and April, which is my sister, we decided to start calling it the Fam Reunion. And it's not just for paranormal people, it's for anyone that wants to come, any kind of channel. And we always make sure that we find stuff that everyone can do. But we do a different state every single year, and we stay for a full entire week.
Wow.
And then we started doing award type things, because bigger YouTubers, they get recognized all the time. And smaller YouTubers, we call ourselves the bottom of YouTube. We don't ever get recognized for stuff. And if it wasn't for us smaller YouTubers, the bigger YouTubers probably wouldn't still be there. But so we decided to just do it every year. And this will be our 5th year. This will be our 5th state.
Wow.
And every year it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And so this year we're expecting about 150 people.
Are you guys going to make it to California anytime soon?
We are eventually. We do every year. We make it kind of easier for different people. So we started off in Central United States, then we went to the Eastern Coast, and then we went to, well, the Pacific Coast got canceled out by the thing that Steve has. That was the only year that it was canceled. And so this year we're on the East Coast again, and then next year we'll be on the Pacific Coast. So it could be, we don't announce where it's going to be until the night of the banquet of the reunion.
Yeah.
And then everyone kind of has a year to plan for it. So, but yeah, it's 2023 will be on the Pacific Coast. I will say that it'll be on that time zone.
Very cool.
So
that's awesome.
See, that's the beauty of the paranormal community, is it really does bring people together.
It does.
And now you have a bunch of people to travel with every year. I think that's really cool.
And you guys always go live with it, and it always seems like such a good time. Wow. I didn't realize it was just from your little group. I thought it was, you guys were part of something bigger. And there's so many channels that have the fam on the end. Wow, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, the fam is huge.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to describe your investigation style. Are you more spiritual or more tech? And what devices do you like to use, and what devices do you not like?
I think we're a little of both.
Yeah.
Lainey is more the spiritual side of it because she can see, feel, and hear spirit. And so she's my main tool, I guess you'd call it, because I trust everything she says, and she can say, "Did you just hear that girl say so and so?" And I say no, and then I get home and I hear it on the EVP recorder what that person said. And we do use some equipment, and there are a few app type things that we use, but the only thing we use is stuff that we get confirmation from, validation. You know, I have to try it out for a while and see if most of the time my family or our spirit guides will come through and validate it for us. So that's when I start using it, or when I'll recommend it to somebody else. I won't just say, "Oh yeah, go try that," or, you know, I want to see if it works myself. So a lot of times we go out with a lot of equipment, but in the moment we end up not using it. We just kind of tend, I believe your senses are your best equipment, but we do like using some equipment here and there. We like using the grid light. I love that.
Yes.
We do have one app that we use on our phones that is a word tool, and it's kind of like a really cheap version of the Ovilus.
Okay.
Because it just shows the word. It doesn't say it, you know, out loud for you, although I wish it did. And we use the SB7 some, and sometimes the Necrophonics, but we don't really use a whole lot of equipment. We'll use a K2 meter and stuff too, but that's about it.
Well, I want to play a clip you sent me. I'm going to play two clips.
Okay.
One is you guys using the grid, and you got a really clear voice. Let's make sure everybody hears it.
Listen.
Listen.
Oh, damn. Oh, my God.
That was playing today.
I heard listen again.
Whoa.
I love this one. This one was probably one of my favorite nights. We had a panel going.
Yeah.
And we were doing just an investigation in our house because our building is 100% haunted. But the spirit kept saying, "Amy can. Amy can." Of course, that was my name. And I kept saying, "What can Amy do? What can I do?" And then it said, "Listen." So I was like, "Listen." And then the male spirit said, "Yes, listen."
But that listen is...
It's so clear.
There's no doubt that says listen.
You can hear everyone on the panel, like everyone was freaking out about it. And
Yeah.
the chat was blowing up. That was just a really cool thing to get. And I loved it. That was probably one of the best ones. And it was crazy.
I only got 3 of the ones you sent me to load that I can use on here. This is another great one you sent me. You said you like to use the laser grid.
Yes.
Brian has started using the laser grid a lot. This is pretty amazing. Let's check this out.
Okay, but why are like so many blocked out in the bathroom? That's what I'm...
There's many spirits up here, Mama.
And I've never seen it do that before, and it's not even picking up good on my camera. Wow, that is crazy.
Did you see that one?
Yeah.
Oh, is that really
What happened? What was that? Okay, the darkness is gone.
Yeah.
What? No way.
That's
Wait, what?
Tell us about that.
This is actually at one of our favorite places. It's called the Hill House Manor, and it's in Gainesville, Texas. It used to be an old brothel. And this was, we were in the kids' room, and there's a bathroom right next to it where we had the grid light set up. And like just all of a sudden, these dark shadows just kept going through it. And you couldn't even see what we were seeing on the camera. But this was when I first seen my very first like full shadow figure. And like the grid lights would just glow around it, and you could see like the outline of a face, shoulders, all that. I eventually had to just hand Lainey my camera because my hands were just like shaking. I was so excited. If you watch the full clip, you hear me. I sound like a kid. But it just completely darkened out the whole entire room. And then just all of a sudden, it looked like something, it was like slithered. It just kind of went and went out. And then the lights all come back up. And like, that was just the craziest. That house was crazy anyway.
Yeah.
But that was one of the craziest things. And it's like a good 5 minutes long, the whole entire clip.
I've had.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Brent.
The thing I noticed was you could actually see movement of of individual lights, which is absolutely impossible with a laser grid.
Exactly.
Because the laser grid is a single laser split into all those dots. The dots can't move independently. So that was the thing that was just blew my mind.
Yeah. And that was it was insane that night.
Yeah, that's incredible because I mean I've been using the grid light. I've never seen anything like that. That's awesome.
I'm still hopeful.
I know. I'm the same. I'm right there with you, Brian. I've never seen one myself with the laser grid, but I'm like, I still use it all the time.
Yeah. Brian, we had it on Janis Joplin, we had it get real dim and then come back. Remember? When we went, like it got drained for a second and then it popped back. Or maybe it was being diluted. One more clip. Let's check this out.
Okay.
Tell us about that one.
So this one's a little harder to depict. It when you watch the full video, that's not in slow motion, the full video. I did slow it down so people could, because if you don't know what you're looking for, you miss it. Like I missed it at first. And I didn't catch it till after the premiere. And we have went back and tried to debunk it several times. Lainey had got caught up in a sticker bush thing and had like stickers all over her legs. So I panned around, and when I panned around, you see like a shadow there.
Yeah.
But as I come back around, you can see what looks like a man standing there, and his head turns and looks like right at us. And this is in a place called Brown Springs. It's in Oklahoma. There's so much that goes on there. This is a place that's very known for cryptid activity, Bigfoot, Dogman, stuff like that. It's also a place where a lot of people from the Dallas, Texas area were taken with the mob and the gangs. They took them up there and murdered them and left them. It's also well known for a lot of witchcraft and satanic rituals. But there is a very old, like late 1700s, early 1800s cemetery on top of this hill. And you have to literally climb the hill to get up to the top of it. But we went out there with several other teams. We tried to make sure there wasn't any holes in the trees, any of that stuff. And we haven't been able to debunk it. And we've had it slowed down even slower than that, and had pictures taken. And I could not find the picture to send you. But there's speculation on, some people say it looks like an Indian. Some people say it looks like a man. I still don't know what I think it is. I just know it's something.
Steven, can you replay it again?
I was going to ask, do you
want to
mind?
watch it again? It reminds me of the shadow figure from the Queen Mary too. And if it helps to tell them, maybe I'm seeing it right. You see it right as we start the pan,
Right as
and
you
right
start,
on back.
whenever I'm turning back around, you see it
It's
a
the
little
dark.
bit. Yeah.
The whole place is bright except for the one spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I can see it. That's
We have a lot of places that we return to a lot because we get something new every time, and that's one of them.
Wow, that's incredible. What made you start investigating the paranormal? What made you go from being interested in it to I want answers? Were you inspired by a show or a movie, or was it just something that just came naturally?
Well, like I said, I was raised in it. I have a lot of dreamers in my family. I have a lot of people who can see spirit, hear spirit. I have a lot of empaths, but that was kind of back then. In that day, it was kind of dull. That's all you ever heard. They talked about and everything. But when Lainey was born, she was born 2 months premature. She spent the first 4 years of her life in and out of the hospital. She was born with plastic lung syndrome. And so she actually coded on us 4 different times. Full code had to be brought back. And so I think that enhanced her gift because everyone in my family has some type of a gift. My oldest daughter has a gift. She's a sensitive, but Lainey's was different. And then my mother-in-law passed away when Lainey was 2 years old. And we noticed that Lainey was talking to somebody a lot. She would tell my husband that Nana Patsy said hello. We would ask her questions just because, kids see things, they, pick up stuff. We would ask Lainey questions and we would say, okay, ask your Nana what her favorite color is. And she would ask her Nana what her favorite color is. And then she would tell us what her favorite color was. We would say, ask her what this name of this person is. And she would tell us. And then I had a cousin who was killed in a car wreck when he was 12 years old. We actually were living in his house at that time that he lived in when he passed away. And Lainey comes screaming one day and she said, there's a boy in the bathroom. And we went in there and looked, there was no one in there. And then I started thinking about it and I brought out a family album and I showed a group picture and I said, is that boy that was in the bathroom in this picture? And she pointed right to him.
Oh, wow.
And so then Cody, my husband, was never really into it. I think it freaked him out a little bit, but he had experiences himself. And I told him, I said, this happens in my family and I'm not going to hide her away from it. I want her to learn and then let her make the decision.
That's good.
And so we just kind of raised her thinking it was a special gift and we let her do her thing and she just got better with it at time. And as she got older, she kind of shut it down a little bit because it was very overwhelming and she would start getting really bad panic attacks. But she has a great group of people that's on here that has taken her under their wings. They're psychic mediums or they have gifts as well. And they really taught her how to embrace the spirits, but also to block them out whenever she doesn't want anything to do with them. And so that's been a huge help for her. So
Wow. That's a lot of trauma at one spot in a life. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Mandy's she's a budding, I don't want to call you budding because you're just joining the group, but she's growing up with psychic powers.
Our powers. Yeah, no, my story sounds very similar to your daughter's, and it's a story that I hear with a lot of mediums, or at least in the mediumship community. A lot of us have had near-death experiences. I had 2 when I was young, and after that, I started seeing things all the time.
Mhm.
And I shut it off at one point because I had a very terrifying experience where I went into trance at a young age, and I had no idea what was happening, and so I completely
Yeah.
shut it off, and it took time to come back. But I think the most important thing for parents of kids who have abilities is just to let them learn about it, let them
Yes.
flourish in it, or do what they want to do with it and not control it. And I commend you for allowing her to do that for herself. I think it's so important to let kids explore it rather than shut it down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I'm
many times
hearing
you're doing
you
it together.
scared,
That's
though.
great.
I hear
People are scared, though.
a common thing where everyone shuts it down at a point.
Mhm.
Everyone seems to shut it down. And also in hindsight, if you remember the story I told last time, I saw a lot of stuff when I was little until I got scared, and maybe I shut mine down as a child and never turned it back on until Patty flipped my switch or whatever she did to me.
Well, there's a
And
huge
Um,
stigmata too, and nowadays, being born into abilities is a lot better than back when.
Of course.
Back then you were committed or shunned, or whatever.
Mhm.
Now the paranormal is so popular that a lot of times when parents find out their kids have abilities or whatever, they're like, "Oh, yay!" Most of them see dollar signs or whatever. They think they're going to be the next
Psychic
TV show,
kids.
but it's a
Yeah.
little easier for kids nowadays. But even 10 years ago, when Lainey was a teenager, it was hard on her because none of her friends understood it. It
Mhm.
scared them. Lainey wouldn't go stay the night at places. She would come home by 11 o'clock saying she had a headache or stomach ache because somebody's family member was talking to her.
Oh,
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot easier on kids nowadays, and parents really should let their kids flourish in it, because if you hide it away, they're going to end up with a lot more insecurities and anxiety and depression, and because they are trying to
Mhm.
hide that part of them, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
I really
100%.
liked this answer from the whole team last week. I mean, this question, what we got. Do you get scared during an investigation? And if you ever do, what was the scariest thing that's ever happened to you during an investigation?
I do get scared. I get very scared sometimes. I like to play it off that I'm not scared, but if I wasn't scared, I'd be lying. Um, I think the scariest thing for me is because I don't usually get any kind of attachments, or I don't ever really get attacked or anything. But we were at a ghost town cemetery, and I was talking to the spirits, running the necrophonics, I believe, at that moment. And I just started feeling like something was stabbing me in the back of the head.
Oh man!
And my head just started pounding. My heart started pounding. And I started feeling really confused. I just wanted to get away from that area completely. Um, but that wasn't even the weirdest thing that happened that night. I actually got attacked twice that night. We did catch a spirit walking away from me at the moment that I started feeling like I was getting stabbed in the head again. But we actually saw something crawling through the cemetery, and we still to this day don't know if it was an animal or if it was
Oh, no.
a person. But we
You have a
backed
video of
out.
that, don't you?
Yes, we backed out of the cemetery. We couldn't even say our prayer because we were that scared. We got in the car or in the truck to do our outro and say our prayers and stuff because it scared us so bad. And then we've gone back like 20 times and taken other people back with us because that was the craziest thing we'd ever seen. And we wanted to we wanted to know what was going on out there. And so every time we go, it gets crazier and crazier, and we love it.
That's my favorite. That's an investigator. It was the most terrifying thing we've ever experienced, and we've gone back 20 times.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's great.
Do you prefer to investigate alone, or do you prefer to investigate with a group? And if you could pick anyone, I mean, you can say Elvis, you can say the president. If you could pick anyone to investigate with, who would you investigate with?
Oh, that's crazy. Because there's so many. I like when me and Lainey investigate together. I've actually only done one alone investigation. I didn't care for it too much. But I do like going out and collabing with other channels and seeing how their techniques, and see what works for them and what doesn't. And I get a lot of ideas from them as well, because we're all after that one goal. If you're a real investigator, you're all after that one goal. And so you want to see what's working for other people and what's not. So I do like going with groups, but also that kind of, sometimes it can ruin the investigation because you don't know who's talking and who's doing what. So I try to respect other investigators when I'm out, and we try to be quiet. And, I don't whisper because I want them to hear my voice and not think it's an EVP.
That's one of our rules from my team. You're not allowed to whisper, and don't eat any Taco Bell before you go.
Well, I really wish more people would listen to that one.
No barbecue beans.
Yeah, no whispering.
But I think, other than Lainey, one of my favorite people to investigate with is my sister. And she lives in North Carolina. I live in Texas. So we don't get to investigate together very often. But we know each other's styles, and we play off of each other really well in an investigation, Yeah. And it seems like every time we go to she's good at certain things, I'm good at certain things, and it just meshes together really well. So when we go out and investigate together, it's an amazing time, and I love it. And so I guess, my sister.
That's cool.
That's great.
What's the most haunted location you've ever been to? And what is a location that you've never been to that's a dream location?
The most haunted to me is the Hill House Manor.
Okay.
And I say that because every single room in that house, that's my sister. If you didn't notice, that's my sister. But every single house has a different story. It was a brothel at one time. It was this at one time, but every single room has a different story, and every single room is crazy haunted. They have one room in there, and we have video proof over and over and over again, live stream proof, video proof, opening brand new decks of cards proof. There's a room in there where you can play Cards Against the Cowboy. And every single time we have gotten 666 in his cards.
Wow.
Wow.
And we have literally had cameras going from every angle so people can make sure that we're not cheating. I could not cheat at cards if I wanted to. But we even opened up a brand new deck. We had already got 666 from him already once that night.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, we're going to do this. I opened up the plastic, everything, shuffled them in front of everybody, dealt the cards out. He got 666 again.
Oh my gosh.
Every single time we go. Every single time we go. And that place it's crazy. It is beyond it's a paranormal investigator's dream.
Yeah.
As far as places go. It's not the scariest because it's not scary, but it is the most haunted that we've been to.
I think that sounds like a place we should visit and all go together.
Yes, I think it is.
That'd be dope.
Yeah.
I think you would love it.
What's the exact name so I can look it up? I gotta write it down.
Hill House Manor.
Hill House Manor, Texas.
Yes. And
I'm
it
gonna do
has
some
been
research.
on a couple of TV shows and stuff like that.
Mhm.
That's how we actually found it, was a
Where
show.
did you say it was at? Where is it located?
It's in Gainesville, Texas.
Gainesville.
Mhm.
If there is anything good about ghost hunting shows, is it's showing you locations.
Yes,
Oh, for sure.
exactly. Exactly.
I found a website once that was every show and a list of their places they'd filmed, and I literally printed it out
Oh, that's cool.
and started putting it on a map. This is a
Yeah.
long time ago, but here we go. Here we go.
Steve.
What?
You're struggling.
I'm sorry. I can do this.
You
We're-
got
we're
this.
making
You got this. Stay strong.
Oh. What is a investigation technique that you think is awesome that no one is doing? And what is an investigation technique that you keep seeing and you're like, why are people still doing this?
Oh, good
Oh,
one.
yeah. That is a good one.
We ask the tough questions here.
You do.
Hard hitting.
Think about it.
That is a hard one. Okay, I can't say that nobody's doing it anymore because it seems like everybody's doing it now. But me and my sister both, we love doing the Estes method.
Oh, yeah.
And before you didn't see very much of it.
Yeah.
And now it's like everywhere because,
It's everywhere
one
now.
big YouTuber does it and everybody starts doing it. But
Yeah.
we've always loved doing that. And we will even do it during the live streams from her house to my house just to kind of show everybody, it can work just even from here to here. And we've even answered questions that come up in the chat without anybody saying them out loud,
Now that I've never done it, explain it to me. I know what I've seen, but
You can
maybe there's a detail I don't know. It's with the mask and the
Yes.
headphones, right?
Yes. So what we
explain
do,
the Estes
because,
method.
because you can put headphones on and you can still hear people talking. So
Yeah.
what we do is we put in earbuds and then we put,
Noise.
my husband has his gun.
Like shooting range.
Yeah, the shooting range ones. I put those on over it. And then you put bandana or something around your eyes where you can't see. So basically it's just kind of like relaxing you and getting you into that zone where you can hear. And then other people are asking questions and we ask everyone in chat to ask questions. That way there's kind of no back and forth. We can't hear them and we kind of want to make it want to validate it. We don't want them thinking that we can hear what the other person's saying. Yeah. So I wish you would see that a lot more because that's kind of hard to fake.
Yeah.
So
I guess my question is, because I've never actually used this method. I have heard of it and I've seen little bits and pieces of people doing it. So then the person that's using the headphones and the noise canceling and the bandana, they're the ones that answer the question.
Yes, so they're the ones that have the spirit box running in there. Yeah. And so the other people are asking questions and then you're just basically saying what you're hearing.
Okay.
So if somebody's asking a question in the other room and you answer it, that just kind of validates that the spirit's hearing what the other person's saying.
Right.
So,
okay.
Wow.
I've done it a couple of times and it's proven pretty fruitful. Like that shit works.
Yeah. And it's awesome. I mean,
yeah,
you have to be careful how long you're under with it because sometimes you can just go off into this. And we literally had to call like my sister's husband and say, hey, go in there and lightly tap her on the shoulder and tell her
don't scare
it's time
her.
to come up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but and as far as ones that I don't want or that I don't think people should be doing, I mean, I really don't. I mean, don't fake your stuff. That's one. I mean, don't do that kind of stuff. But as far as like, I think everyone has a right to do investigations how they please. Your channel, your rules. Don't be disrespectful. I don't like taunting. I will say that. I don't like the taunting. So don't use that method, because these people were at one time family members of somebody.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you're going to places and you're posting it online. You don't know if their family's going to see it.
Yeah.
We did a video of a young lady that was killed by her husband and buried in a park. We did a video on that, and her family seen the video and then contacted us, and we ended up going and doing an investigation with the family there because they wanted to be part of it. So you never know who's going to be watching your videos. So
Yeah,
I don't like
true.
the taunting stuff. You don't taunt. That's just getting riled up and asking a question loudly or something like that. That's one thing. And if something negatives at you, by God, I'm going to be negative back if you're coming at me, but just going out there and be like, talk to me, move this chair, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Now we have taunted before, but it's usually someone who like killed their wife and threw them down a well or something.
Like that, I don't taunt them because I don't want them coming after me. I know y'all can handle yourselves and stuff. I don't want them following me home and wrecking havoc in my house. But if they're being negative to me at that moment or whatever, I'm going to tell them, and I will get riled up at some of them, but I'm talking about like the regular, normal, everyday spirits, like there is an everyday spirit. But I just don't like
your
people
average
going out
Joe
and being rude in their investigations.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just comes out of you, though. Sometimes you just start going, and then like, when we were at Camarillo a few years ago, Brian, and the thing just kept cussing at us. That we kept cussing back to it.
We were getting some pretty nasty responses.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes when you're an asshole in life, you'll be an asshole in death too.
Exactly.
So sometimes it comes through that way.
Or I don't even want to
see a
say.
reason to stop.
I know Brian remembers. You guys might remember what we had the spirit say in the Good Spring Cemetery. It was pretty offensive. I don't even want to repeat it.
We've actually had a spirit say "whore" before on one of our investigations, and we got it on our YouTube channel. It literally went "whore" like that. We were like, "Who? Which one of us?" We're like, "Which one?"
Of all your investigations, what is your favorite piece of evidence you've collected? And then, in your opinion, also, what is the most amazing piece of evidence you've ever seen?
Let's see. I think my favorite is, and I think it's one of the videos that you couldn't get to work, but it's the shadow figure walking away. And that's only because I got so excited when I seen it.
Yeah.
Because hearing EVPs and stuff like that, that's good, but to actually see that shadow walk away from us, I was jumping up and down, screaming, telling everybody to come. I think I showed it to everyone before I even posted the video. And so there was no surprise in the video because everyone had already seen it. But yeah, I think that was one of my favorites.
Is there anything you've ever seen that you're like, your mind goes back to, like Mandy says, the Ghost Adventures brick or something, There's a few in my head that when I think of evidence, I think of these few things. What's your favorite piece? We had a big talk about that brick last week.
Yes,
I know, I was like, it's coming.
I know my opinion is unpopular.
I'm trying to dodge those. Nothing on TV that I've seen.
Okay.
Because that's whether they fake it or not, they got to have views, whatever. But you just can't trust it.
Yeah.
even if they're going out and faking something, they're bound to get some type of evidence because they're actually in a haunted place. But I question everything that I see on TV. But that's just me. And I want to believe it so bad, but so I haven't really seen anything on there. But yeah, my sister, we were in Colorado at a place called the Third Bridge. And it was a place where a bus, the tunnel collapsed on top of the bus and it killed a bunch of kids. And we were in the tunnel, and I think we had just got through doing a spirit box session, and just this blue light just comes out of the wall and it goes right in front of us, but it almost looks like one of those Scooby-Doo, and that's what I keep referring to it as, because it looks like a woman in a long dress, that's flowing, but it comes out and it shoots right past us. And then we didn't see it. This tunnel is completely dark when there is no lights or anything on, and we saw no light at all. And then a little bit later, a car comes through, because cars can still go through there. A car comes through, and a big blue orb comes out of the wall, stops dead center, and then chases the car. Like it was chasing it out. And so, and April caught that on her video, and then I went back and I found it on mine too, and it was on both of our videos. So I think that was probably one of the first times I got anything that was mind-blowing. And so I did. That was a good one, April.
That's really cool.
That sounds crazy. And you know what's very strange is you tell me that story. I had a buddy tell me a story of being in a haunted house, and he said a blue ball came out of the wall, went down the hall, and back in the wall. And it sounds very similar to your story.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I've never seen blue. I've only seen green.
I saw a green light once.
I want to see blue.
I had never seen blue ever.
That sounds cool.
That moment. And it was crazy. I wish I would have seen it with my own eyes, but we didn't see it at all.
Yeah. Could it have been something else? Because a lot of time lights are connected to more like UFO stuff. Bigger balls of light are almost more connected to UFO sightings.
Right. Well, out here, it is in Colorado. It was in the Springs. They do have a lot of different types of stuff there too. So it could have been just about anything.
Wow.
That night. I just know it wasn't any of our lights, because the lights were all off. You could tell it was completely pitch black in there. There was no vehicles around. And so that, to me, that was an awesome catch, because you could see there was nothing. Wow. Like it was literally pitch black. And so that's what helped us validate it, was because there was nothing for light to reflect off of, because there was no light.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty cool.
That's amazing.
That's
awesome. My gosh. I would love to see something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't ever had a visual.
So that's, if we're talking about like lights, like I'm usually the biggest skeptic of my team that I have. And I will always write everything that I see off as something explainable. So I have seen a green ball of light before, but I was in a giant like ballroom, and there was a giant disco ball at the top, but there was no light anywhere that would have reflected this green light. However, my mind was just like, I don't know if that was something that I saw. But the funny thing is that what I saw was a green light, and Gina, one of the other girls on my team, saw, I think it was red. So we both saw the same thing, but we saw different colors.
Right.
Oh, interesting.
I honestly completely forgot about that experience up until you just brought up the blue light. And I was like, I guess I maybe have seen something. But like I said, I always write it off as something that's not I'm always like, nah, that was something else. That was something else. That's not paranormal.
Mhm.
So I just kind of tuck that one.
That's actually a good way to look at it, though, because going into something as a skeptic, when something does actually happen,
It's really
just
exciting when
it
it
makes
does.
it even better evidence. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But other than that green light, I have not visually seen anything ever. So
I mean, you know,
We'll
the
get you
first
something.
thing I always
I was
do.
gonna say, if you're
Sorry.
gonna be going with Hollywood paranormal detectives
Hollywood
here,
HPD.
you,
I'm gonna be
you
with HPD.
definitely
I
will
better
be.
see something.
They found some awesome places.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Go ahead, Brian.
I was gonna say I always, you know, I'm the, even though I've had some pretty wild experiences, I'm the guy that always looks for the most obvious logical explanation before anything else.
You and me
So-
both. Yeah. Well, it's good to have skeptics on a team too, so you can kind of like discuss and like decide if something was in fact, you know, paranormal or not.
But
So,
the other thing I always find is, you know, it seems to me that there is a feeling you're being contacted when something's actually paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you
Yeah.
you can almost feel, you can feel the distinction between, oh, that was just a reflection, and this is something trying to communicate.
yeah.
Exactly.
That's always like when you know the difference between a little spirit voice and I've got communication. And I'm like a spirit box. You can feel the difference. We're doing it.
You're almost there.
What are your goals for What the Paranormal in 2022?
Oh, surviving. That's
That's a good goal.
I would love to see our channel hit our 10K. But I'm okay if it doesn't.
I'm surprised it hasn't. It's growing every time I look.
Yeah, it's getting there, but I still want to continue doing it slowly. But we have a lot of places that we're going to be going to this year that we've really been wanting to get into. And of course, over the last couple of years, it's been impossible.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that everything kind of stays open, so we can get to those places. No, I'm not going to be flying on a plane this year, Slim. They're bound and determined to get me on a plane. But I want to go out and do some awesome investigations and just keep meeting all the awesome channels on here, and I just want to keep going forward. That's about it. Like I'm hoping to get my oldest daughter out more.
Yeah.
She is very sensitive, so it's kind of hard for her sometimes, but I'm hoping to get her out, and my son-in-law. They're very interested in it, so I'm hoping to kind of bring them some. And yeah, I just want to go out and investigate.
You got a whole family band there.
Yes.
I think that's everyone sort of like, we all missed 2020 and then 2021 was like rehab, and now 2022 is like makeup. Like we gotta make up for 2 years worth of life.
Exactly.
All at once. I guess we're getting close on time, and I'm starting to lose breath. Here's a weird question that just came to my mind that maybe only you can answer as a longtime fan of watching us. Do you miss when I used to wear a suit?
Yes, actually, I do.
I've never talked to anybody that would remember.
In the early days, I wore the deputy costume. So.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And I used to wear a suit.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if anyone even noticed that I stopped wearing a suit.
You guys had a theme, even though you didn't have a theme.
Yeah.
There was just every single episode that y'all did, and I will still continue to say this to this day, TV quality. But you all played off each other so well, and just the silliness and the seriousness all together. It fits you guys so well, and it's what attracts people to your channel. And so yes, I do miss the suit.
I miss
thought
me
about
dressing
bringing
up
it
in
back.
costumes.
Yeah, Brian used to always dress up. Boom was a lot more goth, and and then I would see my idea for me as an investigator was Dan Aykroyd from Dragnet. I wanted to just state the facts, and I would just keep it to tech. But I can't, be.
You're too silly.
I'm too silly. I can't hold it back.
Yeah.
But also, my theory was always with the suit. If someone in a suit walks in the room and starts asking questions, even if you're on the other side, you go, "Uh-oh, I got to answer. Yes, sir." Like,
Until
I just
they see
wondered,
how silly you are.
you're one of the only people that would remember the suit. So I was wondering if you even
I don't
realized.
feel like
I just
the
thought
quality
of
of
that.
our evidence has gone down.
You think so? I'll bring the suit back.
Listen, I'll
suit
start
back.
wearing a suit. If that's
You
what you
miss the
want,
suit,
we'll wear
Mandy?
suits.
We should all wear suits.
I'll wear a suit.
I do want to do once we have some better fixed locations. I will get back into costuming for being a human trader, because that's something I like to do.
Oh yes, I love when Brian wears costumes. Well, at some point this next year, we'll have a slow-mo walk from the feet up with the suit, I bet.
Yes.
I've learned that the key to a successful paranormal show is slow-mo walking. all the biggest shows are just slow-mo walking.
That's so true.
Amy, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being our first guest.
Yes.
Thank you
Thank
for your comment on our first episode. Thank you for letting us be on your show so many times. Thank you for always commenting, always supporting. Thank you for what you do for your fam. Thank you for letting us be part of your fam.
Always.
And just thank you for everything.
Yes.
Well, thank you for having us up. This was different.
I know
I
you
don't
never get asked the questions.
I like it being on the other side better, but this was fun. You had some awesome questions. I'm gonna have to steal some of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a lot of fun, and it was very good to meet the rest of the team. I can't wait to see what you guys are gonna do. It's gonna be amazing.
Hopefully, it's going to knock everybody's socks off. I think it's going to be great. So
before we go, there's a lot of people in here that need to know where to find your other videos at. That's not on YouTube, because some of them don't know about the other thing yet.
About Paraflix?
Yes.
Everyone who's watching, well, right now, everything we've got is on our YouTube channel. Season 1, 2, and 3 is all back on the YouTube channel, because YouTube is now the flagship for this talk show. And I want people to be able to watch this show, and like when Brian says, back at the Playhouse, they can go back and watch the Playhouse. But this new team that you're seeing is going to be an exclusive on Paraflix. Paraflix is the Netflix of the paranormal. You will join Paraflix and find 50 new favorite shows, 10 new favorite investigators. And it's only $3.99 a month. You get a discount of 10% off if you use promo code HPD10. The link is in the About section of our bio, or in any of our social media. It's in our link tree. Damn you, COVID.
Time to take a break.
Yeah.
Time to dress
We
up.
had to let Steven get some relief.
Yeah.
Real quick, everyone, next week we will have the wonderful Patty Negri on.
Yay.
Patty.
Yay.
The week after that, we will have paranormal investigator Steve Brote.
Yay.
And then after that, we're going to take a break from guests. I don't think Emily will be here because it'll be Groundhog Day. For our Groundhog Day episode, we are going to talk about time slips, paranormal inspired traditions, time loops, and time travel.
Fun.
That'll be just us chatting it up.
That's going to be a good one for me to miss, because I don't understand any of that. That's a little over my head, so I'm fine.
So everyone, please subscribe, like, comment, follow. Please go to What the Paranormal. Help them get to 10K. They deserve it. Join them tomorrow night on their channel for their live chat. And every Thursday night, correct?
Yes.
Yes. And we'll do this again. I think that's a night, guys.
All right.
Thank y'all for having
Thank you,
me.
Amy. It was
Thanks
great meeting
everyone for
you.
showing.
Good to meet y'all too. Thank
Bye.
y'all.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good
I'll
night.
see you all soon.
All right, everybody. Well, guys, that was amazing. What the Paranormal. Such a great group of ladies. Such a great team. Such a great show. Any final thoughts, guys?
No, there was a question in the chat in the very beginning before we started, and it was asking us where we're going next. But I know we don't like to announce that, so I just kind of.
We got some big locations coming soon, and after we film, we will tell you about it.
Anyone else? Yes.
So you'll have about a month to wait for the episode. Guys, sorry I have COVID. Thank you for coming this week. And I can't wait to talk to you guys next week.
Sounds
You
good.
should be all better by next week.
I
Yeah,
hope
get some
so.
rest.
Better be.
All right. Like, follow, subscribe, link tree in bio. HPD, we out.